something about Jon Anik. I like him a lot, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, look, I'm listening now. Sometimes I'll listen to the Ray Longo Minute on the Jon Anik and Anik and Florian podcast. They do a podcast. It's good. I like Kenny Florian also. So I'm listening. So I listen sometimes. I like to support Longo. And Longo's always funny. No offense. The best part about the show is the Longo Minute, though.
Sure.
Which is really like 20 minutes. And it's Longo being Longo. So I can't get enough Longo. He's a good buddy of mine. So I like to listen to Longo because he's funny. So I'm listening the other day and I gave him shit about this. So first you got Anik going, listen, Merab is this and that. Don't you think he should be with a specialist like Kenny Florian and work on his submissions? Like, dude, you don't think we're showing this guy how to submit guys down there and he's not doing it in class and then he fucking gets in there and wants to fucking become the Tasmanian devil? It's not fucking, you don't think he's working by himself, guys like Jason Rao, Nick Ronan. He's got world-class jiu-jitsu guys and he's phenomenal and he's doing great down there, submitting guys. He has submissions. But I don't know, I thought it was funny that he's like, oh, get him with a specialist. It's like, Anik, what do you fucking think we're showing? What the fuck's the matter with you? And then I'm like, right. Listen, I love Anik though, but I'm like, what the fuck? Get your head out of your ass. And then I'm listening, and Long goes, so they're talking about the rivalry of Colby and Jorge, Jimmy. So Longo goes, yeah, I've been part of like rivalries and, you know, the Serra versus Hughes and this side. I forget what other one he said. But the difference between those and this one is those were more, I can't think of the word. This is more real. Those were more fabricated. Like, we fabricated. So I'm listening. And I'm like, dude, meanwhile, and I'm not saying nothing about it now because his health's not great, but at the time I couldn't stand that motherfucker. So I'm like, wait, fabric? Out of all the words they use, Longo,
right?
Fabricated? That shit was far from that. What do you fabricate?
Right.
Were we in cahoots? It was 100% authentic. It's the total opposite of the word. So I texted him because, you're crazy. I said I couldn't think of the word. Well, think of another word than fabricated. What the fuck? Are you going nuts in your old age?
I think I've told this to you already. When you fought Jon Jones, if you just would have stayed down, we all would be fucking driving gold-plated if you would have, you know what I mean? If you would have just taken the DQ, man, we all would have had fucking jets.
How many times does that get brought up to you about the Jon Jones thing? Because just real quick, if anyone doesn't know, what was it? Did he knee you in the balls? Was it
No, it was a knee to the head.
Sure.
I was down.
Oh, knee to the head of a down opponent. You were down for a little while, and it was so far on in the fight. If you'd have just stayed down and said you couldn't have continued, he would have been disqualified, and you would have been the light heavyweight champion of the world. Now, I get and I respect 100% why you didn't do that. I totally do, and I'm totally with you. And if I was fine, I would have done the exact same thing. But how many times did people say that to you?
A lot. Actually, I jumped on with Teddy Atlas earlier today, and it was one of the first things they brought up was, tell us about it, you know? And honestly, I wish that...
Anthony, told me the fucking guy knees you in the head. I can't do a fucking Teddy Atlas, but I'll try.
I love Teddy.
I fucking love the guy as well. But it's your story.
That's a pretty good Teddy Atlas.
I've never tried to do a Teddy Atlas before. But, you know, it did the fucking knee in the head. It's not bad, actually. I've never fucking tried it. I didn't know this was, it's just a cake because he's kind of broken up, isn't it? The way that he talks.
Yeah, he's a little bit broken. Yeah, it's just, there was never a choice. And I think that's what people think. They're like, all right, I made this conscious decision to not do that. At the time, I had no idea that I would have been the champion. I know that my coaches didn't want me to keep going because they were like, I could just tell.
Well, you're compromised.
Yeah, they could tell I was hurt. And they just kept saying, I remember looking at Mark, and I remember it being like real blurry for a second, and I looked at Mark, and he was like, what did he say? he just said, "Are you actually okay?" And I just went, "Yeah." And he's like, "You're lying." And I went, "Yeah." That was it. So then,
can you say anything other than yeah?
Yeah, yeah. So he just said, "Are you hurt?" Like, or he said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah." "You lying?" I said, "Yeah." And then he said, "If you're not okay, don't keep going." And I just said, "I'm fine." But it was never like, "Oh my God, I could be the champion." It was what I didn't want to do and what I've never been able to do in my entire career. I wasn't willing to let Jon Jones know he hurt me. I would never have given him that in the moment. Never.
See, that's interesting. So and I totally get it, because you're not weighing up those kind of ramifications. Right. You know, you're just like, am I okay? Am I not okay? You got the referee in there, you got a doctor in there, you got the whole world watching. You know, you're just like, you are figuring out, hold on, I think I'm okay. I'm good to fight. That's because by definition, we're not pussies. Most of us, maybe one or two are. But generally we're not. And
I couldn't say it. I can't say it out loud. Like, I just can't say it. Like,
you just couldn't allow yourself to say, yeah, I'm not good, even though it was an illegal blow.
Yeah, like, I could be holding onto my head after it's detached, and I'll tell you, like, no, I'm good. It's fine. Like, I could never say, I just can't. My uncle Todd has been around my whole life. Me and his son Chris, same age, wrestled together, played football together our entire lives, and he's been at every goddamn sporting event. And what he's always said, no matter what, you get hit hard on the football field, like you take a hard fall wrestling, you get slammed on your head, whatever. Get the fuck up, is what he's always said. He'll look you right in your eyes, scream at you from the stands. Get the fuck up. Like,
I like this
even
guy.
If you're hurt, don't look hurt. You know, puff your chest out, put your chin up in the air. You're fine. And that's always kind of stuck with me. Like, as soon as he hit me with the knee, I kind of had to shake it off for a second, but it was like, I got to get to my feet. Like, I'm not letting Jon Jones for 1 second in this fight think that he's got something on me. And as soon as we came together again, I spent the rest of the fight saying, you're a pussy. I thought you hit harder than this. I thought you were better than this. Like, I'll never give it to you. I'll never give it.
Well,
and if he knows now, it doesn't count, because that night, he didn't know.